This is the third video of a video series of processing of SWITRS data, specifically for the manually input uh, collision location information by mostly California High-Speed Patrol staff. Um, so this video, in the previous two videos, we will processed most or identified almost most of the information, the route number information from the text. This video, we're going to process the rest of them. And if you look at the route name and identified list, and we'll see that most of the road either contains a local street name or it contains the phrase to or from. Okay, in the two in the case where we contains to, this phrase, we want to get the origin of this information. So this gonna be, in this case, it's gonna be the state route 99. In the front situation, we want to get the source as the origin of the direction as well. So this case will be things like the on-ramp information, on-ramp or uh, and Imperial Highway. But we also need to identify to make sure that the information or the phrase that we extracted are valid, that are within that are valid route number in the state route ID. So let's get started. So first, I'm gonna define a row name split data frame. So I'm gonna call it row name split, row name uh, name unidentified to from, which means I'm gonna identify the phrase that contains either to or from the column primary road, and then I'm gonna use the string methods to make a string vector, and then I'm gonna split it into to contain either to or from. Be careful this phrase here, um, to from, and I'm gonna expand it to true so that it will automatically create two columns that split this primary road column into two columns based on the phrase either to or from. Okay. Next, I'm gonna define a flag specifically uh, for the purpose of the left column of this newly created two columns. Um, one, I'm gonna define it numpy using numpy no where. The row name split, one is 0, that is the, the column on the left side. I'm not gonna using this again the string methods and to check whether it contains state route 1 or not. I'm gonna just create a flag and then we'll fill it in with the actual information later. Uh, if it's not containing state route 1, I'm gonna call it numpy non available. Similarly, define the flag on right. It's very similar. Uh, Here it should be name, row name split. Stream contains same US1 numpy not available, numpy not available. Okay, so now I'm gonna define a uh, loop over the entire reference auto-generated data frame. So if you are not sure the information about it or how I got it, you can check the previous video. Auto-generated data frame. I'm going to iterate over the rows, and then first I'm going to iterate using the iteration to fill the flag left, row name split, string contains row, and route name, and then flag right or road name split. Let me just do this. Road name split 1, which is on the right side of the string, or the column contains row route name. Okay, so now the flag left contains the binary information about whether or not the this left side column contains the information about the valid route name, similarly to the flag on the right. You can see like most of them are true, but some of them are not true. So which means the left side probably contains information like Dartmouth Street or invalid information. Okay. Next, I'm gonna define a row name unidentified to from to route number as row name unidentified to from flag on the left, whether it's true. At the same time, I need the flag right is list to be true as well. That's when both the left column and right columns contains the valid route number information. Let me just correct it a little bit. Route number to and from. It's here. Okay. And then the flag 2, I'm going to use the numpy where method. This is row name unidentified to from to route number primary road, convert it to string vector, and then to see whether it contains the phrase to or not. If it's true, we fill it as true. If it is false, we fill it as false. Okay. And then for the row name unidentified, I'm going to define another data frame, call it to from, neither is route number. Those are really like we have don't know how to do it. We probably leave it to identify using the secondary road column, which will be exactly the same process, but so we won't talk about in these 3 videos, but it's really the same process. But instead of processing the primary road name, we're going to process it as secondary road. So continue road name unidentified to from, and then similarly, but I'm going to use different methods. So it's flag left not equals to, or equals false, and flag right equals false as well. Let me just add one more. Okay, the false has information. Let me split it wrong. Okay. And then we need to identify the case where we have an identified single phrase, or we call it let's call it one route number. unidentified to from, okay, where we contains only one of them is a route number. So it's flag left not equals to false and flag right equals false. And similarly, we want, this is one phrase. Let me just make sure it has a clean order of logic operation. And similarly, we just copy this to here, but this time the left is equals false and the right does not equals to false. Okay. Let me just split, define the split columns as row name unidentified, to from to route number primary road string split to or from, and expand is true. And then the road unidentified to or from for to number, I'm going to define the destination equals this numpy where the flag 2. If this flag 2 is true, then we use the sleep columns on the second column, which is number 1, or else we use the column on the right, so that we can get the origin of this phrase as the route number. Okay. Flag 2 name is not identified. Okay. So this is just a degeneration warning. We don't need to worry about it. Next, we're gonna create a data frame called row name unidentified to and from to route name. In this column, route number inferred, we can call it number numpy not available, and then if the length of this row name unidentified to from to route number is not empty, here it's not empty, then we're going to loop over the entire data frame, reference auto-generated data frame, iterate rows, and then in this loop I'm going to use the row name unidentified to from to route number and the route name inferred. I'm going to use to see the route name unidentified to from to route number. Okay, and I'm going to use this destined that we just created, and I'm going to see whether it contains route name or not. Row route number, and then row name unidentified to from to route to route number inferred. So basically, we're gonna just fill this column route inferred to determined by whether the newly created destined column contains the validated route number information or not. If it does, then we use the route number. If it's not, if it yes, we use the route number information. If it's not, we just use whatever it already has, which mostly probably just not available. Okay, so we'll look at what we have. Final. So you can see that's mostly overwritten, and we fill the information when it's Golden State, it's number 99, Pacific Coast Highway is 1, and there was other information. Uh, for example, for this information, we identified it as state route to 221, which is right. And then there was other phrase, like for example, this from here, state route 4 to state route 99, we identified it as 99. Um, but let me find another not valid information. And mostly are have like contains two valid information. Yeah, so there is no invalid information, which is good. That's because the row name final data frame contains only the valid information. Let's check out the unidentified. I'm nervous. Let's see. So it's the primary, yes. So this is a regular local row, so we don't want it. And for this one, we haven't really identified um, state route. Yeah, so we want to, because we only care about what after the 2, which is just regular name, regular local street, so we don't really want to use that, which is good. Similar to this. Let me see whether there's any, yeah, so from 2, if we want to identify the information here, which is not available or not valid. So yeah, seems like we are extracting the correct information that we want. Okay, so let's check the length of, and just make sure that we're not losing any record. It's just for some QA/QC purpose. Row name unidentified. Okay, and then the total length is really this plus this. Good. So for the row name unidentified, the next step will be using this secondary road information. We might have some information, for example, like this one, we might um, just want to use the I5 instead. So, but the method is extremely similar to the primary, so I'm not using this video to talk too much about it, but it's very similar. It's just more uh, changing the splitting method, similar splitting methods, but what we're splitting is really the secondary road instead of primary road. Other than that, everything is very similar. So it seems like we did it. Thank you for watching, and please let me know if you have any question or if there's any suggestions. I'd love to hear. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.